Hi there. My apologies, a little bit behind the time today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Um, I am on my laptop, so I'm hoping you can hear me. um, Normally, I like to have my headset plugged in so it's easier to hear, but my apologies, and I hope you can hear okay. This is Megan here with Core3 Harmony and Wellness Services. I thank you so much for your time today. I won't have you very long. Today, we're going to be wrapping up our daily habits series. And if you haven't caught any of the other live streams that I've done, go ahead and view some of those. Some of those may be specific to you wherever you are in your on your journey, and some may not be. But I believe that you'll definitely find at least one of the series that's been done that is beneficial and helpful to you and informative. Um, I I apologize again. Allergies are really rough here. I'm in Northern California, and the amount of rain we've gotten, just the pollen, I can notice that the pollen count has been really high. So normally I'm able to shake this allergy stuff a little bit quicker, and it's lingering on. So my apologies if you can definitely hear it and my voice sounds scruffy. So for today, I realize that the information for today is going to be maybe not necessary for everyone, especially if you don't have kids. So today we're going to dive into healthy habits for the kiddos if you have kids. And uh, I want to also inform you that if you are in need and looking for counseling, therapy, specifically a unique approach, music therapy, or coaching, please reach out to us here. We provide a consultation on the benefits of services, and it gives us an opportunity to learn a little bit more about what you're going through and see if the services provided here are the best fit for your needs. If not, um, still would like to support you in finding the individual or organization that could help you with the challenges and concerns you're dealing with now and in your life. So for today, we're going to be discussing, like I shared, healthy habits for our kiddos. Um, from the experience of being a parent myself, some of these things are a little bit easier to implement, and some of them not so much. So, of course, you kind of take it as it goes with some of the suggestions and recommendations we'll be going over. Um, but the idea is the sooner the earlier you can start some of these techniques and habits, instilling them while your kids are young, the better off in the long run. Okay, so I think I got through all of the informative stuff. If you are not subscribed, I would greatly appreciate it if you would. My goal is to go live every Tuesday at noon Pacific Standard Time. It is to bring you information that is inspiring, uplifting, encouraging, and it usually comes full fold with things I see resonating or popping up with folks that I'm working with, and also within my own life. So if there's something specific that you would like to see discussed more, or you just have questions about, there are the links below and how you can contact me. Also, I just want to quickly, before we get on with the topic today, put a plug in for please check out the ebook store and academy that we have now available to it's a variety of information that we have been able to put together for you, to touching on the wellness domains, and I'll talk about that in another live stream. But please check it out. There are free resources available too, as well on the ebook store and the Academy site, as well as for cost information and products. Okay, so please check it out. Here we go. Let us dive in. I'm gonna get ready to share my screen. So give me a second here. I hope everyone's doing it as well as they can be. We are quickly approaching our last few days here, one more day left technically of June. So time is moving along. Let me share. Okay, and let me make sure. All right, here we are. Okay. So, like I shared, establishing healthy habits early in life is very important, especially for our children. Because their brains are still developing as well as their bodies, right? So if we can start to implement some healthier ways of behaving and thinking, so much better for them in the long run. Things such as encouraging proper nutrition, physical activity. That's usually never too much of a problem with kiddos. They, especially on the younger end, I want to say my 5 and under, they're all about play, interacting in their world through play. So the physical part is usually pretty on par and kind of already innate. Good sleep hygiene, that is a constant struggle. So we'll talk about that, and limiting screen time. Now, that has become an ongoing challenge and problem for many, not just the kiddos. I would even say for us adults. So, all of these specific things we're going to touch on today, it will help to improve your child's overall health and well being. So, these are habits that can be instilled at home as well as with caregivers. Okay. So let's start with nutrition. Um, I know that children, they can be picky eaters. And if you happen to have a kiddo who's a picky eater, I know that this particular area is not the easiest thing for you um, to manage. So here are just some recommendations and suggestions. So understanding that, of course, proper nutrition is going to be fundamental to your child's growth, and encouraging them to eat healthy and showing them how to eat healthy and what to eat healthy, right? So I think a lot of times, especially um 10 and under, there's a lot of like, do as I say, not as I do. And we need to be more on par with modeling that healthier behavior for the kids, because they're visually, they are picking up a lot more than we realize. And so it's going to be really important to be aware of that in your own actions and behaviors as the guardian, the caregiver, or the parent. Balanced meals, having that plate. We've all seen the plate divided up into to various sections where there's fruits and there's veggies, and we've got our whole grains, and we've got our lean proteins. And ideally, of course, it's all impacted by what the child likes and what they are going to eat. So, for example, if you know specific things that are your kiddos' favorites, you want to have those things around. Like, for example, if they love bananas, make sure you have bananas available, or oranges. The more you can keep those kinds of foods available and accessible to them, the more that they are going to eat them. So just be mindful of that. And sometimes you might have to spruce up some of the other things that may not look as enticing or taste as gross. Spruce it up with some of the things that they might like. Like, I know carrot sticks with the ranch dip, it's not the healthiest because of potentially the ranch dip. But right, but if you pairing that ranch dip with the carrot sticks is going to help them eat more carrots, then by all means, I'm like, hey, let's go for it. So that's just an example. Another great thing is to get the kids involved. Get them involved, with helping out with the meal prep or with buying the things at the store. Then they'll be more vested and interested in the proper foods. All right, physical activity. We kind of talked about how this is something that's somewhat, you can say, innate. Especially, I like to look at it from our 5-year-olds and younger. But for our kids who are older, now this is something that we can we can look into as far as, what does the playtime look like? So we have our outdoor playtime, especially as the weather is warmer here in the northern hemisphere. We're looking at swim time and definitely being safe and all the safety features around that activity, and also active transportation. So, these are the fun times when the kids are interested in their scooters, their bikes, their I want to say they're little three wheelers. I think that's what they're called, as well as maybe roller blades or roller skates or even skateboards. So, whatever they're interested in, we want to encourage it. We want to, of course, make sure that they're safe with those devices. So, making sure they have their helmets and knee pads and all that good stuff so that they're protecting their bodies. Swimming is an amazing exercise. It's an all body workout. Swimming is one of those where I know, catching a little bit of the news over the holiday weekend with the being Memorial Day weekend here in the States this past weekend. They were talking about a lot of swim safety. And still even adults as well as kids, there's been an increase in the um, I want to say accidents around water and drownings. So you want to make sure that the child, if they are not confident swimmers, you want to make sure that they have floaty devices, that there is supervision, that they're not able to get access to or left around the pool unattended. Also, it's another great activity to actually, during the summer, to build that confidence in their swimming and to take up some swimming lessons. Okay. Outdoor play is great. I want to put a plug in here just because, particularly here, the allergies have been extremely challenging. So you may want to be mindful of that with your kiddo. If you notice a lot of rubbing the eyes, sneezing, congestion, difficulty breathing, a lot more mouth breathing and less ability to breathe through your nose because everything's stuffed. Be aware of those things. You may have to limit outside activity or schedule to the best of your ability certain time frames during the day, because I know the pollen can be worser certain times during the day. So those are some things to consider and think about. Um, there are some great over-the-counter medications you can provide if you notice allergies. If you're unclear about that and you're feeling kind of iffy about that with your kid, it's always consult your primary doctor and see what they would recommend for kind of those seasonal allergy things. Okay. Sleep. Okay. Sleep can be something that's really hard to convince your kids, especially certain ages. This is well before we get to the teenage realm where sleep is seen more as a friend and the body is the mind and the brain and the body is still growing and developing, haven't quite hit puberty yet. We'll notice that in our teen years there is more of an onset to want more sleep, um, but there's still so much benefit even in these young years prior to puberty, is encouraging our kids to get enough adequate sleep. And sleep can seem like it's boring. It's like, I don't want to do this. I'm missing out on stuff. So you may sometimes have a battle with your kiddo, depending on your habits around sleep. So creating a routine is really important. and it helps to promote healthy habits. Sometimes I'm even cautioning on maybe having some sort of structure, even on the out of school time frame, summer time frame, or vacations. It's still important to have some structure. So even if you say, okay, so with school night A, you can stay up an extra hour, right? But there's still like a cap on what time they're sleeping and potentially what time they're getting up so that there's still structure. A comfortable environment is always important. I had actually a client say they think that their most important investment that they can make is a good quality bed. And I would say that even for kiddos, even though um, one might say their bodies can tolerate and maybe handle a lot more uncomfortableness than maybe adults as we get older. But it's still important that you have a good, comfortable environment and a place that's soothing and calming for the body to get into a restful mode. Adequate hours of sleep. On general, this goes back and forth with the number of hours. Um, and I know everyone's unique in their own way. And quality of sleep, I think, is more important to me than quantity. So, for kids on average, we're looking at longer. And teens, for children and teens, we're looking at longer. So, if 8 hours is the marker, nine, maybe a little bit more than that, pushing it. Um, and that's where, if you're not able to get that close, that's where a nap time can come into play. So you want to make sure it's at least the eight marker of 8 hours, and a little bit older, it's over. There's a stretch between 9 and 10 for these highly developing ages for kids. And I know that's not a norm, but you got to think about perhaps plugging in that nap time, which may give you that little bit more of that edge. Okay, so hygiene. Um, this is one where I shake my head because kids, like, the focus of their world is like playing in their games. So if I feel like if some of these other life skill things were as important to them as that, man, game on. Like things would be pretty top notch as far as them developing the skills they need to start these habits early and to prevent issues later on. So hand washing is a must. I know I'm always reminding mine when they come in from outside playing. Um, but after using the restroom, um, and in general, just if you stop and thinking, where have I been and what am I doing right now? If I'm eating something, let me wash my hands. So these are things that I know as a parent, it may feel like it, you're reminding them a lot. Um, but remember that where their brains are stuck at, their brains are not focused on those life skills, which is why, they need that consistent guidance. For these things, putting these things in place. Oral hygiene, brushing your teeth twice a day, and flossing. There's a lot of different products out there for kids with the shape, the unique smaller shape of their hands. Things that are more accessible and user friendly as far as flossing. And you got to make these things fun. That's my motto, is that, like, how are we making this fun? Because when we can make something fun or intriguing, inviting, interesting, we're going to get their buy-in. So there's a lot of different things you can do to make things fun. There's little apps you can put, like a timer or a song or something that's playing. So while they're brushing, they're like, yo, it's 10 minutes are up and now it's time to floss. Let's floss. Little stuff like that is helpful. Respiratory hygiene. Yeah, just reminding kiddos to cover their mouths when they cough and sneeze, dispose of tissues that they've used properly, putting things in the trash in a proper place. Um, these are all very helpful, mindful things to stay on par with. Okay, the screen time. Lots of research being done here with us understanding the consequences of too much screen time. So let's take a look. Lower risk excessive screen time can negatively impact our child's health and well-being, leading to the following. This is obesity, sleep disorders, and poor academic performance. This is an area where I know for me, I'm constantly trying to say, hey, and the beautiful thing now is that the controls you have of shutting down or closing off are no longer able to use it after a certain time. Those are great. Those are very helpful for us as parents with the kids. Setting boundaries on screen time, alternatives such as reading, board games, getting outside and playing, family time. What are your boundaries? Thinking about those. How well are they working? This is perhaps even a good review to think about how things are going. If you already have things in place, if you have kids, as you're seeing this and you're wondering, hey, I kind of already do those things. It's just like, I would love for you to be able to review and say, hey, how well are they going? Do I need to do something different? So again, modeling those healthy habits, stepping away from the screens. I know for me, it can be a challenge with this because I'm either on it with work or school, and it's like this constant back and forth. And I'm trying to be mindful and aware of it because again, they're being more watchful of us than anything else. Family time. What does your family time look like? Are there some things that can be improved about it? What are you doing mentally, physically, and emotionally as a family unit? Um, and consider setting up unique family times, whether that's outdoor stuff or quality time together. As you model these healthy habits, it sets a tone for a lifetime for them. Consistency is so important and so key with not just with the kids and helping them with their healthy habits, but all across the board for all of us. um, so establishing these habits early is just a can be able to shape lifelong behaviors to just reduce chronic diseases, okay, and other issues from popping up later. Consistent reinforcement and positive feedback can encourage your kids to continue. So make sure you are connecting and complimenting and not being overly critical. Long-term benefits is being consistent and promoting healthy habits can improve your child's mood, their academic performance, as well as their overall quality of life. I thank you so much. You're hanging in there. We're closing in. I think this is our last screen here. Okay. Last one. Thank you. So to wrap it all up, we want to establish these habits early with our kids as much as possible. And we look at our nutrition, we look at what are we doing physically for our bodies, how well are we resting in regards to our sleep, how well are we tending to and taking care of ourselves with our hygiene practices, and limiting our screen time. And what are we doing overall as a family unit to bond with each other? So these are all some good tips um, to think about. And of course, if you already have some stuff in place and maybe it's like, okay, this is a good review for me to see how well things are going, what do I need to adjust. Okay, and I'm going to move to see where you can see me. And so I hope that you found the information today helpful, relevant, and informative. And I understand this information will only go so far with certain audience members because some of you may not have kids. But if you're actually still watching this anyway, I appreciate you taking your time out to hear what I have to share and say. And next week, I don't have it up here, but we're going to dive into a topic for the next couple of weeks and on our live stream here on managing and coping in different situations, difficult situations, I should say. So tune in, lots to share there. Again, I like to try to keep it definitely tops under 30 minutes. So I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you checking out what I have to say. I'd love it and greatly would appreciate it if you could subscribe as well. Here at Core 3, we want you to always remember these three things: that you matter, you are worthy, and you are also loved. And please reach out to us here. If for some reason for you specifically, those three areas don't resonate or you're not feeling it, reach out. I'd love to come alongside you and support you through whatever challenges you are dealing with right now. Thank you so much. Tune in again next Tuesday at noon Pacific Standard Time. Contact us below if you have any questions or concerns. Do check out our ebook store and academy site. You are greatly appreciated. We will see you very soon.